Picking the perfect pumpkin got you in a pickle? With so many shapes, sizes, and colors, it's hard to know which one's best. Here's how to get the pick of the patch. Every season, there seems to be a new variety of pumpkin to choose from. Whether just for display or carving, you want to make sure you get a good one. When it comes to those carving and jack-o'-lantern style pumpkins, you want a smooth skin with consistent color. Of course, no pumpkin is perfect. A few imperfections is just personality. What you do want to avoid is any soft spots or deep scratches, so give it a poke all around. Like this one with a deep crack in its bottom. That's unfortunate. To make sure your pumpkin lasts, also make sure the bottom's not mushy, you want it to be firm, and look for a strong, sturdy stem. Because if it breaks off or is missing, your pumpkin just won't last as long. And it looks so cool. So carry it by the sides or underneath to protect that stem. If you're carving, give it a knock. It should sound hollow, that means the skin is thin enough for you to carve. Yep, hollow, you're not dense. Sorry, buddy. Some varieties like pie pumpkins are best for eating because they're mostly solid all the way through. And don't skip out on heirloom pumpkins with their odd shapes and interesting colors. It is Halloween after all. Of course you want to get the freshest pumpkin, so if you have the opportunity, get one locally grown. Any pumpkin you pick is gonna have a few flaws. For me, it's about finding the one with the most character. It's a ghoulish gourd. Even if you've been carving pumpkins most of your life, it may be time to look at things with a new perspective. You don't need to be an expert or an artist to make a jack-o'-lantern masterpiece. Here's some tricks to make carving your pumpkin a treat. Every fall comes the opportunity for you to express your creativity on a pumpkin canvas. There's that long-standing tradition to remove the top, but there's a better way, starting at the bottom. I like to invert the pumpkin over a large bowl to protect the stem. Make sure everything's sturdy and stable. We're gonna be carving after all. The perfect tool for removing larger pieces is a serrated knife or a keyhole saw. You can do this freehand or trace a circle. I like to trace a shape, it just gives me more guidance. A tooth blade like this makes it easy to get through that thick flesh. PSA time, keep your hands clear, take your time, and be safe. We've reached the guts. A trusty metal spoon, one with a sharper edge, is gonna help you scrape out those insides. Or you can bring out the heavy machinery. Using a hand mixer is becoming a popular tool for mixing up those insides. Just be gentle not to scrape away too much of the inside. Anybody else think this is oddly satisfying? Once you pick a side of the pumpkin where your carving will go, I like to thin out a little bit more of the wall from the inside. That means you'll have less to get through when you're carving. That was a lot of fun. We're not even done yet. I like to use a dry erase marker to create my design. If you make a mistake or change your mind, you can quickly erase it. Nose goes. Check may be simple, but adorable. If you've never used these before, a set of pottery tools can be perfect for carving pumpkins. You can find these affordably online, and the different tips can give you more control and detailing. You don't have to be a pottery pro, just experiment. These tools make it so easy to just make little adjustments. You don't have to floss all your teeth, just the ones you want to keep. Pumpkins do look so much better with the stem intact, and you can set it right over your light. I'm alive! I stuck to the basics, but try carving an heirloom pumpkin for a really unique look. Don't let this go to waste. Roast those seeds, puree the rest of the insides to make pumpkin bread, but we'll save that for another day. You've spent the time creating the spookiest Halloween pumpkin, but once carved, these things can go rotten on you real quick. Molds, bacteria, or just the elements turns this creation into a pumpkin puddle. Here's how to protect and preserve those Halloween carvings. I like to pick my pumpkins early, but it can be a fight against nature to get them to last all season. Once you get it home, give it a good wash with soap and water. Now that you're nice and clean, let's get you completely dry. Washing away all that dirt and any mold spores will help this pumpkin last. An alternative, fill a sink or a bucket up with water, add a few tablespoons of bleach, and let it soak for 20 to 30 minutes. Carved pumpkins, fun to make, but they're live fast and die young. One of the best preservation methods, petroleum jelly. You're gonna need a liberal amount and rub it all over the inside and any of those exposed edges. You want this stuff all around, good thing it's cheap. This will create a barrier so the pumpkin stays firm and doesn't lose too much moisture. All right, don't miss a spot. Use a battery-operated light, especially if the inside's coated with petroleum jelly. An open flame could be a fire hazard. Actually, avoid flames altogether. It'll heat up the inside and that pumpkin will be toast in no time. Let's make a pumpkin preservation spray. We'll start with some water. Don't touch the edges, don't touch the edges. Just a little bit of Castile soap, peppermint if you can. Or you can add a few drops of a peppermint essential oil to help fight fungus. Kind of feels like I'm creating a Halloween potion. Hocus pocus. Give a little spray every day while it's on display. That stuff smells so good. I love this method because it's natural, but a more effective solution is to use a few drops of bleach in your water and spray away. If you want your pumpkin to last, keep it cool and shaded while it's on display outside. But if you really want your pumpkin to last, keep it covered in the fridge during the day. I put a spell on you, and now you'll last. Your pumpkin isn't truly alive until you bring it to light. My favorite nostalgic Halloween effect is just a light and a pumpkin. But these days, a candle just ain't enough. Here's how to bring some magic and a little wow factor to your jack-o'-lantern. A battery-operated candle is a big upgrade from that old school wick. Gives you that same effect, but it's way safer and easier to use. Consider the size of your pumpkin too. For something bigger, go with a larger candle or a teeny tiny light for your tiny pumpkins. Now that's a cute match. I mean, it's battery operated, it's basically like a flashlight. Here's a little note from personal experience. These candles can be made out of a waxy material which melts in high temperatures, so keep them stored somewhere cool when you're not using them. But for a real upgrade, I love a color-changing LED remote-controlled light. This gives you so much customization and room for creativity. For a mesmerizing glow effect, you'll need wax paper. Just a piece big enough to cover your carving. Just line the inside to create a little bit of diffusion behind those openings. This will cast a ghoulish glow, and all you'll see is the light and not the inside of the pumpkin. That looks so cool! For a bit of whimsy, use some fairy lights. Now this is gonna be magical. You can even mix up the magic. Ooh, I love the way that looks. Now to take you to your final resting place. Trick or treat, ha 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 ha!